So, what does true greatness really look like? I mean, we're all taught that it's about being on top, about power, about status. But what if that entire idea is just completely backward? Today, we're going to dive into a powerful ancient story that flips everything we think we know about leadership completely on its head.
And we're going to start with, well, maybe a strange question. Do you like waffles? It sounds totally random, I know, but trust me, it is the absolute key to unlocking this entire idea.
Think about it. You can have the best, most delicious waffle batter in the world, right? But what actually gives a waffle its special shape? It's the waffle iron. It's the mold. In Korean, there's a great word for this, dul. It's the pattern that defines what the final thing looks like.
Now just imagine a mold, not for batter, but for your entire life. That's the idea behind another Korean word, bone. A bone is a life pattern. It's the model that shapes everything, your actions, your attitude, your thoughts. And the bone we're exploring today is one of the most radical ever presented.
So how on earth does this all connect to dirty feet? I know, it sounds weird, but to really feel the impact of this story, we have to travel back in time. We need to understand why the simple act of washing someone's feet was seen as one of the most degrading things a person could possibly do.
And this wasn't just about it being an unpleasant chore. Get this. This is an actual verdict from a first-century court case. A famous teacher, Rabbi Ishmael, was brought to court, and the ruling was clear. Washing feet was so dishonorable, a son was forbidden from doing it even for his own mother. It was a serious social taboo.
And why was it such a huge deal? Well, you have to picture what life was like. There are no paved roads, it's just dirt, dust, and mud. Everyone is walking around in open-toed sandals. The streets are also where animals live, so they're filled with animal waste. People's feet weren't just a little dusty, they were unavoidably, disgustingly filthy.
But here's the crucial point. The one thing you have to remember. Washing those filthy feet was considered so shameful, it was legally reserved for only one group of people, foreign slaves. Not even the local Israelite slaves could be forced to do it. It was the absolute bottom of the social ladder, an act of pure humiliation.
So keep that context locked in your mind. The shame, the status, all of it. Now let's step into a room where a teacher, Jesus, is having a final meal with his closest followers, because something is about to happen that is going to shatter every single one of those cultural rules.
So you can just feel the tension in the air. Even at this last sacred meal, his disciples are literally arguing about which one of them is the greatest. Who's going to be the number two? Who gets the seat of honor? They're all focused on climbing the ladder. But at that exact same moment, Jesus has something completely different on his mind.
Right in the middle of their argument, Jesus, their teacher, their master, does the absolute unthinkable. He gets up from the table, takes off his outer robe, which is a symbol of his status, and ties a servant's towel around his waist. He literally puts on the uniform of the lowest person in the entire society. And then he gets down and starts to wash their feet. All of their feet, including the feet of Judas, the man he knows is going to betray him to be killed in just a few hours. I mean, just pause and think about that. He's not just serving his friends. He's performing the most demeaning act of service imaginable for his own enemy.
The disciples are just stunned, silent. This action breaks every social, cultural, and religious rule they have ever known. They're horrified. And finally, Peter just blurts out what everyone is thinking. Lord, you will never wash my feet. It was just too shocking, too upside down for him to comprehend.
But this wasn't just a random, shocking act. It was a powerful, deliberate demonstration. Jesus was teaching them a brand new definition of greatness, a completely different kind of power.
And this is where it all comes together. After he finished, he told them, I have set you an example, and the word he used here is the exact same idea as our Korean word, bon. I have given you a pattern, a mold, so that you should do for each other what I have just done for you. He wasn't just doing a chore, he was forging a new mold for them to live by.
So what does this new model actually look like? Well, first, it says true power isn't for ruling over people, it's for serving them. Second, true strength isn't found in dominance, it's found in humility. And third, the greatest person isn't the one at the top of the pyramid. The greatest person is the one who becomes a servant to everyone else.
Now that's a powerful idea. But it's not meant to just be a theory. The source material actually gives us a really clear, practical way to apply this in our own lives.
It's a simple three-step process. First, remember this example.
When you're in a situation where you can either grab for status or you can serve someone, picture this moment. Second, pray or reflect, whatever that means for you. Ask for the strength to go against your own ego and self-interest. And third, act. Actually become that model of service, that bond for the people in your own life. It could be a small gesture at work or a quiet act of kindness at home.
And really, that brings us to the final question, the one that's meant for all of us. It's easy to talk about servant leadership, but this model demands action. It challenges us to look at our own lives, at work, in our families, in our communities, and ask ourselves, who is waiting for you to be their model of service?